Bank of Central African States, BEAC, the common bank for the six-member Central African Economy and Monetary Community, CEMAC, will release a new banknote mid-December 2022. The decision to circulate the new range of banknotes of 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 and 10,000 was reached during an extraordinary session of the Ministerial Committee of the Central African Monetary Union (CEMAC) held on November 7, 2022, the body said in a release earlier this week. According to the release signed by the president of the committee, Haven Doba, CEMAC, which oversees the functions of the bank, whose headquarters is in Yaoundé, Cameroon, in the Central African region, had approved the disbursement of the 2020 generation of banknotes that will go into circulation from December 15. It had earlier approved the production of the banknotes in 2019. New banknotes in circulation. What stakes for the future of the Central African region's economy? Find out in today's edition of Voice It. Stay with us. Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you immensely for joining us once again over your Pan-African channel for You Media Africa onto Voice It. Today we're talking economy. We're discussing the circulation of new banknotes in the Central African region that is supposed to commence on December 15, 2022. And as guests this afternoon to discuss this very pertinent topic that not just affects the Central African country of Cameroon but the Central African region, CEMAC, as a whole, I have as guest Dr. Nigwania, who is an entrepreneur as well as a political analyst. Good day to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sharon, and good afternoon to our listeners. I was listening very keenly to what you were saying in your introductory words, but they didn't tell us why they have to change the notes or introduce new notes.
Yeah, we're going to be uncovering that in the course of today's edition. First, we're going to get down to the table this afternoon without any transition. And I'd like to ask you, what is your analysis of this decision by CEMAC to introduce a new banknotes in the economy?
Yeah, I was trying to read about it. I was, in my comment, I said, I tried to look through, probably I missed the paper or I missed the TV, whatever, but I didn't see where they explained why they are introducing new banknotes. It would have been very helpful. So you and I might just be guessing and probably saying the wrong things, but they ought to tell us why they are introducing new banknotes and not leave us, guessing the whole time why they should do so. Of course, there's some good reasons, but just treating people like primary school kids, go to the left, go to the right, but don't tell people why you are doing something. It's not fair.
At a point, as we speak now, we have most African countries that are actually looking on eradicating the franc CFA. Now, with this new introduction, how feasible is it in the Central African regions?
Well, like you said, I think the countries in West Africa, the French-speaking countries in West Africa, would have been joined, by Nigeria and Ghana.
We have, yes.
They want to introduce the ECO. And so your question is, others are introducing the ECO and moving ahead. Why are we stuck with the CFA and we want new banknotes of the CFA? Even with the ECO, there are still some issues around it. And if those issues are not clarified, changing from CFA to ECO still changes nothing. Because it's still it's the politics around the whole thing. It's just like you go into your bedroom and putting some makeup and changing your face. If you don't change something fundamentally in you, that facial makeup doesn't change very much. So
right answer.
Yeah, so we need to dig deep into these things to know what is going on. How does the money affect the economy, and what's that relationship? It's very important that we define it.
Okay, so now you're an entrepreneur, but now we're talking about this new circulation of new banknotes, which was approved by higher authorities in the Central African region. Now, how can this affect the economy? Now you're looking at it from the perspective of an entrepreneur.
That's right. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, or it changes nothing. All right. But let us make some. Let us. I was talking to someone, my friend Apostle Ambe, and he was saying these new banknotes would actually be followed by a devaluation, or it's a hidden form of devaluation. And I was scratching my head around it, trying to understand how the devaluation comes in, because whether we change the notes or we don't change the notes, the devaluation is there.
Yes.
And the devaluation is not like I was saying, it's not that somebody goes and reads a paper to say we are devaluing the currency by 15% or something like that. It's just that the economy has been sliding down. So,
yes, it's been noticed when we're doing exchange of currencies. We notice that franc CFA doesn't really has its what.
Yes, you don't really have to go exchange anything. You just have to. What are you pay? What are you coming back with from the market in your basket? You take 1,000 francs. You took 1,000 francs to the market yesterday. The question is, when you take 1,000 francs back to the market, do you still bring the same quantity and quality of goods?
It has definitely reduced.
So if you are paying more anytime for less, that is inflation. And inflation, another word for inflation is devaluation. Yeah. And so yes, but currencies usually, there's this kind of inflation that is built in the economy. I think it's something around 3.5%. I can't remember, is it in a year or 10 years or 5 years? I've forgotten. But that's something that happens. But if you are going faster than that rate, something is fundamentally wrong with your currency, not with your currency. It's fundamentally wrong with your economy. And if you don't change that thing that is fundamentally wrong with your economy, and you change the banknotes, it changes nothing. I don't know what I expressed myself.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, it changes nothing, because at the end of the day, the question is, what do you buy with the money in your hands? That is the question. And if you are buying very little with that money, the only way to change the dynamics is to increase productivity, increase production, not of the money, but of the goods.
Yes.
Because money is a medium of exchange for the goods and services. And when the goods and services are becoming scarce, then you need to pump in more money to get those goods and services. Is it making sense?
Yes.
So if you notice that in your economy, what you need to do is to leave the money as it is, then go check out your economy and find out why you are not producing. And a good indicator in our primitive economies is that we are selling raw materials. We are selling raw materials to foreigners. That's what we are exporting. So when you are exporting raw materials, it means you are exporting some advantages that you would have had to build your economy. That's adding value.
So actually, Africans need to start from there.
Yeah, that's where you need to start. This changing currency in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, and midnight, it helps you in no way. It helps only. It helps only when you want to solve some kind of other problems. We'll talk about those. But if it is your bad economy, and you keep on changing the color of your banknotes without
looking for the problem, identify the problem, and trying to solve it.
It's like you having malaria, and I'm giving you medicine for cancer or something like that. Those two are not related. So you need to have an economy that is functional, that is productive. There is a problem with productivity.
Exactly. Okay, now you're a political analyst as well. Now, do you think there is a link, political link between this new decision to implement in the circulation of new banknotes into the Central African economy?
I don't know. There could be one that is hidden somewhere. But for instance, let's see. If probably if we look at a couple of reasons why no such change might be would come to light. The first thing again that we want to say is, technology changes a lot. And therefore, you could have had some banknotes in circulation that were made with an old technology that could easily be copied and this counterfeiting and so on.
Yeah, lately there have been this occurrence of fake banknotes a lot. It's been on the rise, and even here in Douala, because you are in Cameroon, let's take for instance the example on the ground. We have had this problem every single day. We have it every day.
Of fake banknotes.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have a lot of fake currency in your system, And if you also have a lot of banknotes that you make the banknotes and the material you make them out of, it matters. If probably you made the banknotes out of material that's not very resistant, it breaks down, it weighs down very fast, and then it becomes unsightly and many other things. And you have new technologies, you can decide to come up with new banknotes which are more resistant, that are more appealing, and of course it will have exactly the same value like what you are taking back from this from the society, because the customers will bring to the bank a 1,000 francs note, the old version, and take back home a 1,000 francs, the new version. So it's the same value. It's just that the physical properties have changed, but not the value. And then if in the course of retrieving these notes now, people who had fake banknotes stashed in their homes, or people who had stolen money and stashed in their homes in currency, will find it very difficult to bring that money to exchange it. You show up in the bank with
fake banknotes.
Number one, either fake banknotes or large quantities of money that you are hiding somewhere. It becomes very difficult. So people who keep money locked in containers in homes and so on, very large amounts, would find it very difficult to convert that money, except they take it out and go and buy things left, forward, center, and kind of like spread it in the community. But that is to catch people with especially the fake, or people who have stolen money. A lot of people steal money, right? Corruption and so on. This drug dealers, corruption and so on. They have this kind of money that is stashed somewhere, but more often than not, they're very smart. They try to change it in foreign notes. And if the Americans are going to change the dollar, then they will be caught. If the Europeans are going to change their euro, then they will also be caught.
Yes, they'll get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, so these are some of the reasons. And it's to check crime. You would change currency to check crime, and then we said so, and then to increase its capacity to resist counterfeiting, and then just to make it more appealing too. Of course, it's always nice to do something new. Otherwise you cannot sit there and not change something. Change is a constant. So there are some good reasons for doing it, but they never told us why they are doing it. Might be they're just keeping us a secret so that people don't rush out and go and try to beat them in the system with the bad notes. Okay,
now I'm tempted to ask this question: why do you think we have this resurgence of fake banknotes a lot in our economy nowadays?
First and foremost, you have to understand that money has worth.
Yes.
All right, that's the first thing. Money has worth, and you can convert your lands, your gold, your everything into this paper thing, which is a tender. So when you have money, you can get anything.
Yes.
Not everything, but you can get anything. Yes, so you can get 90% of the things can be bought with money, and so that's where money has its value, and so that's why we get up every morning to go work and so on. But people have looked for smart ways of getting the money without having to go through the headaches, you see. So a lot goes into that mechanism, and that is where the key is. How do you lay hands on that money without providing the goods or the services? Okay, that's the key. That at that exchange point, how do I get money without providing the goods and the services? If you have a minting machine that you could mint in the back of your house, then just go ahead and mint it. So that is it. So, and then a lot of scammers and a lot of things, and the countries that are very advanced in technology, South Asian. I was reading about this. There's some people in Latin America, in Southeast Asia, and so on, that are very good at minting just about all currencies. And I think I learned about it. It was on a YouTube. Somebody was talking about mentioning a lot of countries in Africa, and I think they mentioned Chad in particular with the late president or something. I'm sure. I don't know what happened, but there is something somewhere where in those countries where fake currency is made, some people who are in position of power, they actually go there and make the fake currencies and bring it themselves through diplomatic channels and inject it into the economy. Yeah, they inject that into the economy. and replace that with the good notes or something like that. So yeah, it's something that happens. It's something that happens.
Okay, away from all this, now how can so the African economy or African countries be economically independent?
Yeah, it's very easy. It's straightforward. It's not rocket science. Your economy can only grow to the extent to which you use your brains, to the extent to which you use your hands, to the extent you have manufacturing capacities, to the extent that you have industries. So if you look at the economies in Africa as of now, we depend a lot on selling raw tree trunks. We dig up gold from the ground that we never put there, and we sell that to get money. We take up oil that we just found underground, and then we are happy. So, and then the bad thing about it is we are not even the ones who go taking it. You see, like YouTube is very interesting. I saw another documentary on YouTube where in Gabon, or is it somewhere out there, or Equatorial Guinea, I can't remember. They have these companies, these multinational companies that are the ones who do the oil drilling. They take out the oil, and the governments themselves don't know how much oil they have. So it's those people who go out at sea, get the oil, load it into tankers and take it away, and come and tell you how much oil they took away, and you have no way of controlling it. You see, and the systems are so corrupt that even if you have an African who is there trying to look to see what is happening, his own brothers, will sell him to the foreigner.
Yes.
I mean, we don't love ourselves, we don't love our countries. There's no patriotism, which is very bad. So we don't tend to protect our countries. We don't tend to protect the common good. We are very corrupt, and that corruption is really killing Africa. Of course, you heard of Glencore, right?
Yes.
Yes. So these are the kind of things, where we sell off our countries to the first bidder, and we don't care about the common good. We don't care about sustainability. So corruption is really a huge problem, and if we don't solve the issue of corruption, our countries are not going to move forward. That's one. There is corruption. Number two, we must be able to do it, to DIY, do it yourself. So we have a lot of problems and challenges in our countries, and we ought to realize that actually challenges are good, in the sense that they are the things that motivate you to go past where you stopped and go the extra mile. And when we are talking about challenges, therefore, and to be able to solve this, you have to use your own youths from your country to solve the problems. But if we are in a nation where we don't train our youths and give them the capacity to solve these problems, and we keep skipping over them to go and bring foreigners to do our dirty work, and we keep paying the foreigners, then we will never wake up. You see that? And then if we keep on importing stuff, things that we could make ourselves.
Actually, we import, and that's killing our economy.
That is killing our economy. So these are a couple of things that we need to be doing. We need to improve on our manufacturing industry. We have to stop exporting raw materials. We have to learn to do stuff ourselves, and we have to export more than we import. And if we must import, we don't just import stupid things. We import
just what is necessary.
We import equipment
to use and develop our economy.
Good. That is what we import. You import equipment. You import technology. You import the active principles in medicine, so that you make the medicines yourself. You see, making medicines you have to be careful how you do it. But the bottom line is, when you have a tablet of paracetamol in your hands, what you ought to realize is that inside that paracetamol, there's the active ingredient inside.
Yes.
Okay, it's the active ingredient inside, and then the rest of the white thing you are seeing is just cassava powder.
Wow.
Yeah, that has been bound together. Okay, so it's like when we used to I'm a farmer, I learned it from my mother. When we take seeds, some very fine seeds of vegetables, some very fine seeds, and you want to spread it on the farm, it's very small, that if you try to do it like that, it doesn't go. So what they would do is they would take the seeds and then mix it with a lot of dust. All right, so that the seeds are inside
Yes,
that
you
dust.
can-
Now you
yes, you
spread
can
it,
just
then you
spread.
it will spread properly. So technically, medicines are like that. It's like, I know you cook, so it's like you take salt. When you put salt in your soup, you've got to stir it, right? So that
Yes,
it,
so that it
distributes
spreads evenly.
evenly. So it's basically the same thing. So the active molecule in the drug is just like the salt. Then you put it in some powder, you stir it, then it distributes evenly to the concentration that you want. Then you know that if I take so much of whatever the powder, it contains so much of this active principle, and you compress that, and you have your tablet. You know, whether it's the liquid to drink or whatever, but basically that's the principle. So let us be importing not the finished tablet, but the active principle. That is, if we don't have the capacity yet to make the active principle. So we should go out of our way and do the things ourselves. What we are saying is, don't import baked cakes. All right, import the yeast. Import the yeast.
Ingredients used in producing
Yes,
cake.
import only the yeast. Don't import the sugar. Don't import the oils. Don't import the flour. Import only the yeast, and then prepare the cake here. And if
when
anything,
you go to
sell
the
the cake.
local market, you notice that those imported goods are even sold here more expensive than, and you notice someone, say a common man,
Yeah.
finds it really difficult to buy, because you get about a liter of say vegetable oil, whereas it can be produced here on the African continent,
We
but
can.
imported can be sold very expensive.
Yes, imagine that Malaysia came to the Malaysians came to us to get the palm seeds, and they've planted and they're producing oil now to sell everywhere
Whereas
in the world.
we have it in
and we don't.
excess,
Yes.
and we don't produce.
Yeah, no, we don't even have. No, we don't have oil now, so we are importing palm oil now.
Whereas
But what I
we
wanted.
we have plantations of.
Yeah, talking about oil, you know that we can grow. We have other sources of oil, not just palm oil.
Yes.
We can grow oil we can get oil from sunflower.
Yes.
Yes, and we can plant sunflower very easily, and in 3 months you harvest and you squeeze and you get your oil, and then you use the cake to feed your animals. So we just have to change our thinking. You know, that's what innovation is all about: doing things differently. So we can also do things differently, and we'll be able to correct our economy and stop. Let's break the back of importation. It's very important, and look at everything. And let me show you just how bad it is. If you go to our supermarkets, I don't want to call names. 95% of all the things you'll see in the shelves are imported. And we ought to change that. We need to bring it down to 60% and 50%, and why not reverse it so that we have a minimum of, let's say we have just about 30% of imported stuff on our shelves, and we make the rest ourselves. That's how we create jobs, and that's how you change our economy. If the economy is bad, that's how you change it. Changing the notes,
Yes, I mean, changing the notes really doesn't solve the problem, but changing the economy from the roots
Yes.
definitely is going to solve the problem. Now you evoke this issue of the leaders bringing in the young generation.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
You don't just bring the young generation just for the sake of bringing them.
Yes.
If you have the young generation with the wrong mindset, who has no skills,
Yeah, they will not be helpful
yeah,
to the population.
It ends up being a disaster. What we are saying is that let us. You remember, last time we talked about the things that make the world to turn around.
Yes.
Three important things. We said politics. We said economics, and we said development, and we said that these things spin around very well when the education is right.
Right, yes.
So what we are saying is that we need to step back a little bit and find out what are the wrong things we are doing in our education, recraft our education so we train our children to become productive, especially through STEM education, to which they add entrepreneurship, character development, emotional intelligence, business skills, and all these kind of things, communication skills. Put those together. So we have to lift our youths, out of this decadence where they are now. Many of them have gone to universities. Many of them have certificates, but you have certificates in history, philosophy, microbiology.
The most funny thing is
it
they don't
doesn't
really
help.
use it to impact the
No,
society.
you cannot, because it does not. When you study, how does it impact the society? People you see. There are two ways of impacting the society. You can impact the society by telling a story, or you impact the society by feeding that society. People want, if you look at our university system, we have just trained a lot of people who can spend time talking, but they cannot change water to wine. But what the society needs is
Those who can
Just
change
change water to wine. The only way you can earn money is by changing water to wine. You can talk from morning till evening, you are getting nothing out of it. So what we are saying is, not that talking is bad, talking is good, but 25% talking, 75% working.
Action.
Yes, but the way we have done our thing is we have only 10% action, 90% talking. That's why nothing works.
Now you're a Cameroonian, and now regards to this new decision to bring in the circulation of new banknotes is what not, and that's not the first time that's happening in the Central African region. But as a Cameroonian, so to say, how do you feel about this change?
Well, all I know is that in my purse I'm going to have cleaner notes. They look good, they look beautiful, at least for the start.
Yes.
But then those notes are not going to fetch me more on the market. That's all I know. So it will be beautiful, but they're not going to fetch me more on the market. Okay. But even as we speak, I don't know why. I don't know what they are doing about it. The greatest problem that the Central African market is facing is a shortage on coins and small change.
Okay.
That's where we have a problem, not the color of notes. Of course, we might have some money stashed away, and they're trying to solve that in another way. But the common man, if you ask the common man who's taking a bike and so on, you don't pay a bike with a banknote, you pay a bike with coins.
Yes.
You know, the coins are not in circulation, and that's what the common man wants to hear.
Actually, that has been a problem for a long time.
Yes.
And we've had rumors, they've been in circulation, that the Western powers are actually taking these coins. But now how can the governments or the governments of these countries solve this problem of lack of coins?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, it's no secret that you saw it on YouTube. A lot of the Chinese, they come and put this ballet, what do you call those machines again? Those lottery machines.
Yes. You have to input a coin,
and then you play some games, and then you win. And then they tell people that playing games. You know why the Chinese are working? Chinese don't play games, but they come to Africans and tell Africans, stay there and be playing some games. We'll bring you some machines. Put you know,
coin.
What they do is you bring the money, the coins, and you give them the coins. And it's not the coins that you put in the machine. They give you some tokens. All right, some tokens, just some plastic stuff. That's what you inject in the machine and you play with. At the end of the day, you lose and they keep your coins. Okay, so they keep doing that. It's a trick, and they gather all these coins, and then they take out the notes and go out and even buy more coins. And you know, when you have a 100 francs coin in your hand, yes, you have the monetary value is 100 francs.
Yes.
That's what you can buy with, but the material used for making that coin and the technology that went into that coin is worth more. People didn't realize that. You see? So the coin itself has more value than what has been given it. Okay? So this the Chinese came and they are aware of it. So and the coins were made of a rare expensive metals, silver and so on. So they just, instead of going and wasting their time looking for silver in the bush to mine, they just gathered all the coins, loaded them in some trunks, sealed them, and then they pass through our customs and so on. You know, we don't scan and so on. So they put them inside tree trunks and then carry them out. And of course, you saw it, right? They were cutting out those tins and pouring out the coins.
In those days, one could get say a large quantity of say goods and services for a small amount of money. But in our time nowadays, it's no longer the case.
Yes,
what could have gone wrong?
Yes, it's no longer the case. And it's a good indicator. It's a good and a bad thing. Okay. Where is the good part of it? You know, there's always a silver lining in every cloud. That's where the power of entrepreneurship comes in. You know, when you want to do a business, you just go out and do a business. You go out and do a needs assessment. And what we are saying is, you know, how do you set up a business? You set up a business to solve a problem.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yeah, you must first identify a problem.
So identify a problem and bring a solution. That's how you get paid. That's how you earn money.
Yes.
So if we say that goods are scarce, that's a good thing in the sense that it tells you that, you know, that's where you should be going. So look for somewhere where the goods are scarce, and then bring the goods on the market. and then you earn yourself a living. That's how it works. That's what business is all about. But we are saying, you know, a lot of people, a lot of Cameroonian businessmen and Nigerians and so on, what they do is you go to China and go and buy the goods and come and flood your market. No, that's not it. You don't correct your economy by going out and bringing.
You actually promote what they produce first.
Yes, what you want to do is start off by buying. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't buy for the next 20 years. Start off by buying. Then when you have bought one or two, while you are, no, let's say you buy three. When you come put the two on the market, take the one to your laboratory and scat and break it down. Yes, break it down and see what it is and find out how the Chinese made it. And see which parts of it you can make. All right? See which parts of it you can make. If you can make all of it, then go look for the machines that make the thing. So that on your third trip to China, you don't buy the goods, you buy the machine that makes the different parts. Then you come and start making those parts. You will be clumsy at the beginning, but you perfect your act as you go. That's how we change. But you cannot, if you have a country that keeps importing rice for 60 years, there's a problem. You understand? We are not thinking, we are not innovating, we are not thinking out of the box, we are not finding out how do the Chinese do it. Did God give them some brains that Africans don't have? Are you saying that Africans are so stupid that they can't do it? You know? So we need to get out of this box thing and try to catch up with the rest of the world, and our problems will be solved. So if you are paying more and if you are paying more for very little, that's an opportunity for you to go out there and produce that thing and inject it into the market, and that's how it works.
Okay, changing the narrative. Starting from there. Okay, earlier on you brought up the issue of handling banknotes.
Yes.
Now, how do those in the Central African region handle banknotes so that we don't have such cases again resurfacing?
Oh yeah, this is just this has to do with patriotism, and this has to do with love for country and respect for everything. And we were talking off camera, and I was saying that if in other countries, in other developed countries, every adult has got a wallet, and in that wallet, you know, if you have a note, you know, look at this note. I had it in my wallet. See, it's not twisted. So you keep the notes inside the wallet there and carry them with you. But you would have noticed this one is twisted.
Yes.
You know, like if you go to the market now, any market where the women are selling, they have these bags or they have something. What they do is they just take the notes and they squeeze them like that and throw in their bag. So at the end of the day, they go home with twisted notes like this, and they're pulling them out.
Some get torn,
some get oil on them, and so on. In fact, this is criminal. We don't know that in Africa. We don't know that in Cameroon. It's criminal to be treating a note like this. All right. We might be doing this out of ignorance here, but I bet you, go to America and try a nonsense and take even a $1 and begin to do that, you go to jail. They'll throw you in jail, because even though the money is in your hands, it's not your property. It's government property, and you need to handle it with care. And you see, and already because we treat money carelessly, and we are not responsible. That's why we do everything in a very careless manner. Until we start treating, you know, notes like this, it's not because it's in your hands. It's in your hands, you earned it, but that paper does not belong to you. It belongs to the state, and you need to handle it with care. You could do whatever you want with coins, but don't crush them in a machine. The coins are more resistant. The paper is not as resistant,
it's not resistant,
and so you should handle that with care.
So
don't put oil on it, don't put grease on it, you know, don't tear it, don't deface it, don't write on it, you know.
Shouldn't be at the level of the production, reinforce the quality of the banknotes.
Yeah, you can reinforce it by making banknotes out of metal. If you made the pieces of metal, nobody's going to be. But it's paper. Because it is paper, we need to be treating it with care and not treat it as if it didn't matter. If you cut a sheet of iron, of course you will not twist it, right?
Yes,
but
exactly.
Because it is paper, realize that it's paper. Realize that it's not your own, and realize that it's criminal to rough handle it.
Okay. Now, when comparing the West African part of the continent with the Central African part, how can the Central African region liberate themselves from the grip of their colonial masters, so to say? Because when we're looking at, let's look at it from the economical level.
You see, sometimes we say, we want the French to go, we want the Chinese to go, why are the Lebanese taking over? Why are the Indians?
These are some of the numerous questions.
Yes, that it's very simple. If you want the French and the Lebanese and to go, I mean to free your economy, it's not by shouting, it's not by fighting, it's not by anything. It's by DIY. You have to do it yourself.
Replace what they are bringing in.
Yes, you have to be able to do what they are doing. All right. Now, if you want a television, we don't make televisions. Television set, we import everything, and when you go down there, it's sold by Indians and Lebanese, and no one else. You understand?
Yes.
So you must replace that. If you don't replace it, it's still in their hands. So there's nothing you can do about it until you train your own children to do it themselves. Just shouting doesn't change anything.
Okay, I was asked this question on how we can correct, because on our numerous editions, when you've been here in the studio, we have said that the problem comes from the educational system.
Yeah, it is.
It starts from scratch.
Yeah.
Now today again, I would like to ask again this question.
Yeah.
How can we correct that from scratch so that the new generation that's coming forth, they can be able to live or better do things which say the forefathers couldn't do at the start? That's
correct. The educational system is, watch my lips, very, very poor. And we've had these fights in Cameroon to say, the Anglophone system is better than the Francophone system. All of that is bullshit. Okay? At the end of the day, the question is, what can you do with that education? And, yesterday I was asking a stupid question. I said, if we say that education is what you need for a country to develop, so let's look back. In the last 30 years, all of those very intelligent people from West Cameroon or the Northwest, Southwest, who had the 20 points, 25 points at the GCE, what is there in the Northwest and Southwest that can testify to the fact that these things have been brought in or put in place by those people who were very great in our schools for the past 30 years? And the answer was, there's nothing to show. And someone said, oh yeah, it's because the country has not been good. Many of them have migrated. They are working for other people abroad. Might be they are right. Might be they are right. Which means that we have to make the area conducive for the people in the diaspora to come back and help us. We have to get to a place where we bring all our children who have already done it before and are doing it great, who have gone out there and learned how others are doing it. They have to come back and be the nurseries, for creating industries in the country. Then in our educational system, we need to copy from people who have the best educational systems. The way it's done in Finland, the way it's done in South Korea. Or by the way, before I start naming them, let me say that if we take all the nations in the world and try to class them according to their educational systems, because a good educational system is the one that brings forth the youths that understand politics, economics, and development, and can create wealth and solve their problems. You see that? Because education is for solving problems. Now, it's not for telling stories. So if you take that as a measure, then we probably can put all the countries in the world into 4 groups: the Class A, Class B, Class C, and Class D, according to the usefulness or output of that education. And if you know, when I was,
every person know where they belong.
No, many people don't know. They don't know where they belong. They think it's okay, but it's not okay. When I was talking about it to a group of students, they thought that America and Britain and France were in Class A. They are not. Surprisingly, they are not. They're in Class B. Class A countries, when it comes to education, are the Scandinavian countries. You know them? Finland, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. And then you add to them Germany, then Holland, and then probably skip France. Go to Israel and Japan, then come down to the Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, and South Korea. Those are the countries in the A class.
Wow.
When it comes to education and output. Then Class B countries. Now you can start naming US, Canada, Britain, France, and those other ones. Then class C would be China, China, India. I don't know where they put China exactly. China, though their industry is doing well, but their education, India. India is doing very well, but they have a very large population to which means they have to. So that large population drags them back, but they are pushing. You understand?
Yes.
But then when you come to Africa, probably you can add, I don't know, South Africa, I don't know whether Egypt, Tunisia, some of those countries, and that's it. But otherwise, many Brazil is in class C. Otherwise, you take Cameroon and many other African countries who are class D as far as education is concerned. We need to change it, otherwise we will remain slaves forever. And if we don't change our education and begin to do things properly, China will recolonize us, whether we want it or not. Because the tool for recolonization is technology and economics. If you cannot correct your technology and economics and do it yourself, the person who has it, the technology will come and rule over you, and the worst thing that's happening to us is we cannot even grow the rice that we eat. We cut tree trunks and sell raw tree trunks, take the money, and the first place we rush to is to China to buy their rice. You see, the war just started, and we were rushing to Ukraine to beg that they should let us have some wheat. You see, that's the problem. That's the problem. Yet we have everything that it takes to make all these things happen in Africa. Yeah.
So now we are at a point where you said technology is actually what's ruling the world now as we speak.
Yeah.
We have persons, talents on the African continent. But the thing is, these talents never or little or never come to limelight. It means people might never really know about them. Now, how can the African continent start by promoting these people so that, because that's the only way the continent is going
the different governments should work on that actually, promoting their own and lifting the children. It's about.
How can they do that?
Yes, it's very easy. It should be a government policy where the government realizes that and accepts that they must correct their education and that they must start from somewhere, and that they must, when you are starting something new, you must create a nursery for it and do what you call proof of concept. You understand? You must start everything. You must start small and grow, which means that if you take like this thing, the case in Cameroon, the educational system is there for now, and you say, okay, we need to change this educational system to the STEM, for instance. And we need to change the curriculums, and we need teachers who understand these things and can do it well. So what you do, you begin to train the teachers and begin to change the content of what you are teaching the students, and get teachers who are motivated, who can make science, technology, engineering, and mathematics teach it in an innovative way, so that the children can understand very easily. And you begin to you go to your universities, you begin to shut down some of those faculties that are producing people that you don't need. Okay, and then there is a cut across subject which is very important for everybody, is agriculture and food transformation, and which is very important. You engage many youths in that area. You see the transition.
You even notice that when someone is applying to go study abroad, for instance, if you're taking something that you can study in your country, they'll ask you, why don't you do it in your country?
Why don't you do it in our country? Why are you going?
That is always the question. So Africans should actually learn from what is happening and see that, no, if I can do this here, why? If everybody is doing it here, why can't I do it here? Yes.
So what we need to do is to those innovative schools that are out there, bring those innovative schools here. Bring the technology here. Then go to the places that have succeeded, Germany and so on. All those, they are retired teachers and retired people from industry. Bring them here so that they transmit the knowledge into your children and to your people. Encourage your own children in the diaspora to come back and facilitate things for them. So we have to create a system where there's what you call brassage, bring people in and then begin to change this thing. But you must bring the building blocks together where things begin to happen. It's very important. If we're just talking, it wouldn't help. You see, for instance, we can do something. We have our institutes of higher learning, right? Just like the St. Louis University Institute. What the government should do, which is what I've been suggesting, is if you look at, there are so many thousands of youth that are going to these schools, but many of them are into the social sciences again, doing marketing, doing banking and financing, doing accounting. I'm sure you have seen that. Yes, thousands of them. For instance, you have thousands of children studying banking and financing when they don't know how to make money. That's the problem. You want to study accounting, you want to be checking the money and know when the penny got missing, but you don't know how the penny is made. We need to change that. We need to change that so that...
So it should be more practical.
Yes, it should be more practical, yeah? It's very, very important. And so what you need is not too many people who know how to bank money. You need but too many people who know how to make money. Is making some sense? Yes, that's where we need to go. Yes. And then change that. So that's what we need to teach our children, how to make money, how to create wealth. And there's no way you can create wealth without technology. It's impossible. It is because technology allows you to change water into wine effectively and efficiently. You see, like the T-shirt you are wearing. You'll be surprised that T-shirt. If you go and check, you see this T-shirt could be made of cotton or of synthetic material. Yes. And there are techniques now. You know your water bottle. The water bottle that you drink the water in and throw away. You know, there are techniques for changing the material in that water bottle into your T-shirt. I'm sure you have seen it.
And it's worth a lot.
Yes.
It's worth a lot.
So you see.
So in the documentary. Okay, now to crown up today's edition, I would like to ask you, given these recent developments that's already coming into the Central African region, what message can you pass out to African leaders?
I'm passing this message, number one, to African leaders, number two, to all youths and to all Africans. We can change our notes every day from morning to evening and change them 20 times in a year. It doesn't help us. What will help us is for us to change our economy. We change our economy. We have to redefine our economy and know what we are doing. We have to increase our capacity to manufacture, our capacity to produce, stop importation as best as we can, increase our capacity to export finished goods, not raw materials. We have to change the foundations of our economy, put the economy of our various countries in the hands of our youths. There are so many youths out there, and that's a timed bomb which would explode. We have to give youth the capacities to be able to solve our various problems.
Okay, it's on that note I'll say thank you so much, Dr. Nick, for taking our time to join us once again on today's edition of Voice It.
It was a pleasure, and to say again that you know, the inflation is going up, and we are getting very little for the money we are spending. We need to change the dynamics by increasing production.
Okay, increase production, reduce importation, and of course advocate for exportation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's on that note that we shall be drawing down the curtains of today's edition of Voices over your Pan-African channel for you, Media Africa. I have been Jake Snapisi for presentation. Our guest this afternoon was an entrepreneur as well as a political analyst. Stay charmed. Have a blessed weekend.